Good day, folks. Today I'm going to be reviewing the game Phase 10 Twist. This game came out from Fundex in 2007, and it is for 2 to 6 players. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Phase 10 card game. That game has been around for a very long time. This game was last released in 2010, and that's the last time it was ever printed out. Not quite a vintage game yet, but it is no longer in print, so I figured why not give it a review. But anyway, the object of this game is you're going to be trying to lay down different phases on the table with these different cards, and you're going to try to be the first person to get past phase 10 on the board. So let's show you this game. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and start with the components as always. Right here you have your board, and you have a number of spaces over here. You have these neat little round pawns that will stack up on each other, and each of them have what are called a phase underneath. This one says 2 sets of 3, this says a set of 3 and a run of 4, and there's a bunch of different ones over here. And then you also have one that says twist. And if you land on this, you have a choice. You'll be able to choose to do this phase here, or you will get to choose from over here, where there's a whole bunch of different phases than the ones here on the board. Now, what the object of the game is, you're going to try to be the first person to get past phase 10 over here. And the way you're going to be doing that is by laying down the phase over here, and also by going out first if you can. Now the cards you have here, you have 4 different colors, and you also have wild cards, and you also have a skip card. Anyway, basically you're going to be making runs and sets in this game, and a set is basically 3 cards that are of the same number. So for example, these 3 threes would be a set. If you're trying to do a run is going to be cards that are in sequential order. So a 1 and then a 2 and a 3 and a 4, that would be a run. Then you also have some that say 6 cards of the same color, and in this case it would be like, say, 6 red cards or 6 green cards, things like that. Those are the main types of phases that you're going to be doing in the game. Now you also have skip cards. If you get this, you can play this in front of a player that you are playing against, and then he's not going to be able to play on his next turn. Now each player is only going to be able to get skipped once per hand. And then you also have the wild card, and this basically replaces any card with the exception of the skip card that is in your hand, and you can use this to build sets and runs. So for example, you could use the wild to make 3 threes over here, or you can use it to make a run. And really the only rule with the wilds is you can play as many wilds as you want. You just have to have a natural card in there with it. And you're also not going to be able to switch out the wild cards if you came up with, say, a 3 here for these 2 cards. And so the way the gameplay works is you're going to go ahead and look at the first phase here, which is 2 sets of 3. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Right now I've got a set of 3 here, and that's the only one I've got. Now I've got a choice. I can draw from here, or I can draw one of these 3 cards over here if I would like to. So let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and draw this card, and I've drawn a 6. I still can't go down, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of something. So let's just say I play this 12. I'm going to go ahead and play the 12 over here, and then let's just say it goes to player 2. So player 2 is going to go ahead and look to see what he has, trying to make his 2 sets of 3, and he really doesn't have too much. So I'll go ahead and draw this, and well, actually he does. He's got 4 1s over here, and he's got a couple of 10s. So if he's able to get a 10 on the next hand, he'll be able to go down. So I'll go ahead and for him, I'll just place this 6 over here, and then it goes to the next player. Okay, so I'm looking at my hand, and this player actually played the 6. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pick it up, since I can do that. And now I've got my 2 sets of 3. So we'll go ahead and lay them down here, and we'll lay them down here, and I'll have completed this phase. So what I can do is, if I wanted to, I can go ahead and skip. If it's a 2-player game, I would just go again, but I'll just pass on that for now, and I'll go ahead and play a 1. So I have gone ahead and completed my phase. Let's go ahead and say that player 2 has gone down 2, and he has thrown down 1s and 10s. Now I can do what is called hitting, and what hitting means is that I can go ahead and play cards that I have in my hand on his hands here, or I can do it on mine as well. So let's just say, for example, it was my turn and I picked up this 1. I can go ahead and play these 2 1s right here on my opponent's hand right here, and I have a wild, and let's just say I went ahead and I dumped it over there. And then I would go ahead and discard a card, and then let's just say I did a 9, and that would be it. Now let's just say I was down to 1 card, and I drew this, and it turned out to be a wild card. So what I could do is I could just simply dump the 10 over here, and I could play the wild card here, or just discard it in this case. Let's just say I played over here, and then I will have gone out. So the way it works is if you've managed to get down your phase, you're going to go ahead and move 2 spaces forward. So let's just say it was blue that did that, and he'll move 2 spaces. Since I went out and put my phases down, I'm going to go ahead and move 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you didn't complete either of them, you would just go ahead and move 1 like that. So that's the way the movement would work. Now, the interesting thing with the twist is you can choose to complete a phase that is on either side of you, or you can go ahead and draw the twist cards, and these are typically a little bit harder to do. But anyway, if you are able to complete this twist phase over here, you would double the amount of moves that you would normally do. So in this case, laying down a phase, you would normally move 2. In this case, you would move up 4. But if you also went out, then you would double that as well. So normally you would move 3. In this case, you would move 6. So that could be a big help. However, if you are not able to do either of those things, then you're going to have to move back 1. After the round is over, everyone's going to look and see what their next phase is. In this case, white would have 1 set of 3 and 1 run of 4. Blue would have this one, and then orange would have this one, which he again could choose from. And you're essentially going to keep on playing these different rounds all the way up until somebody is able to get past phase 10 by movement or whatever. Now, if it turns out that there's 2 players on phase 10, if there's more than 1 player that moves past phase 10 at the same time, whoever goes out during that last round of play will win. If it turns out there's a tie, meaning that 2 players lay down but they don't go out, then each player will total the value of each number card remaining in their hand, and whoever has the lowest total will win. And the skip would be 15 points, and the wild cards would count as 25 points. So anyway, guys, that is phase 10 twists. So my final thoughts on phase 10. Well, when I was growing up, my family and I played a game called Liverpool, and that is basically a precursor to this game. I enjoy playing phase 10. My wife enjoys playing phase 10. Easy game to learn. It's a very fun game. Liverpool is a very good game, but this puts a twist, no pun intended, on Liverpool. The one thing about this game that I like, well, there's several. This game goes by a lot faster than the usual card game. The usual card game, you have to play 10 phases, and you may not even get those phases, and so the game can take a little time to play. With this game, since you're going to be moving 1 space or 2 spaces or 3 spaces, sometimes even doubling that, this game is going to go by a lot faster. Now, the twist aspect of the game is really cool. It's nice that they put a little risk and reward there, and they have all these different phases that you can try for, as opposed to the standard 10 phases that are in phase 10 and in this game. I like that a lot. It's very, very cool. Pretty standard components. The board looks pretty cool. It's a standard board. It's round. It's nice. The cards, of course, are just your standard cards. Now, the interesting thing is this game goes for probably about $30 or $35 on eBay. I don't know if it's an uncommon game, but I figure since phase 10 must be a pretty popular game, people are looking for this game. So if you find it in a thrift store, I would definitely recommend picking it up. The parts might be a little bit hard to get. When I had first looked for parts on eBay and stuff like that, I couldn't find any that were selling those little round pawns. Even on Board Game Geek, where I get a lot of my parts, I couldn't find those either. So if you can find a complete copy of this game for cheap, I would recommend getting it. It's definitely I would definitely recommend it if you enjoy phase 10, or if you enjoy Rummy or games like Liverpool, or any kind of games where you're laying down sets and runs and things of that nature and trying to play on other people's cards. Definitely would recommend this. It's a fun twist on phase 10, no pun intended, again. Anyway, y'all, that's my review of phase 10 twist. You guys have a great day. Keep on gaming.